Hello everyone, welcome to the master class. My name is Ankush Bhaduri and today we will learn about vectors. We have learned about physical quantities and those physical quantities can be subdivided into two categories, the scalars and the vectors. The scalars are those quantities which contain only a magnitude and they follow ordinary rules of algebra like we do in addition, multiplication, normal addition and multiplication. Whereas in the vectors have a magnitude and they also have a direction and they do not follow ordinary rules of algebra. They have their own sets of rules that they follow, which we will be learning about them shortly. And for examples, we have vectors like displacement, velocity, force. Now, there are the difference between scalars and the vectors. As I have already pointed out, two differences, that the scalars possess only a magnitude and the vectors, they possess a magnitude and as well as a direction. The second difference, as I have already said, that scalars, they follow ordinary rules of algebra, but vectors, they have their own set of rules. They do not follow those rules of algebra. And scalars, when can we say that a scalar changes? The scalar changes when its magnitude changes, but a vector changes when either its magnitude changes or the direction changes or both the things change. So in scalars, how can we represent scalars in our copy or textbooks? They are represented by ordinary letters, alphabets, whereas vectors, they are represented by either bold letters or ordinary letters with an arrow over it. We will see these very shortly. Now, in a diagram, how a vector is represented? In a diagram, vector is represented by a straight line. The length of the straight line, the length of this straight line, OA, gives the magnitude of the vector, and you can see in the diagram that there is an arrowhead. This arrowhead points in the direction of the vector. This O is known as the terminus of a vector and A is known as the tip of a vector. How can we write this vector in our copy? We can represent this vector as OA. There is an arrow overhead, as I have already said in the previous slide. See, and in the length of the vector gives a magnitude. Okay. In coordinate geometry, we already know that how to calculate the length of a line. In the same way, the magnitude of the vector is calculated. Now, let us come to a very important part known as a unit vector. Now, we see that there is a vector, A vector, and this A vector can be subdivided into two parts. This part is known as the magnitude of vector, the value of the vector, and this is known as a unit vector. Okay, this magnitude of a vector, also known as mod of a vector, and also it is known as a norm of a vector. It is known by three names, and this A cap, this is known as A cap or A hat, as you can see here. This is known as a unit vector. This only gives a sense of direction along in the direction the vector is pointing. Now we know from coordinate geometry that we have three fundamental directions, that is x, y and z. The directions along x, y and z are represented by I cap, j cap and k cap respectively. I cap is for x, j cap is for y and k cap is for z. Now I will tell you about two very important type of vectors, the position vector and the displacement vector. Now this is the position vector. The position vector gives the position of a point with reference to origin of the coordinate system. x and y is my coordinate system, and O is the origin of this coordinate system. Suppose a particle is kept at p x comma y. X comma y is the coordinate of the particle, and the position vector is represented by drawing a line, a straight line from the origin to this to this point x comma y, and the direction of this position vector is always away from the origin. See, it is always going away from the origin. Okay, now this position vector x comma y, x is a coordinate, x coordinate, y is a y coordinate, is represented as xi cap plus yj cap. R is my position vector, xi cap and yj cap. The magnitude, how can we calculate the magnitude? The same way we calculated the length of a line, like x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square, and this is the magnitude. This gives the magnitude. See, from the coordinate geometry we have found this. This is the distance of the point from the origin, this magnitude. Now let us come to the displacement vector. A displacement vector gives the position of a point with reference to any other point in the coordinate axis. What do I mean by this? Suppose a particle is situated at x1 comma y1 point, and after some time we find this particle at x2 comma y2. Now how can we determine the displacement of this point, of this particle? Then this displacement is represented by this line rather than these lines. The displacement is represented by the length of this line. That is why I said that it gives a position of a point with reference to a point other than the origin of the coordinate axis. So how can we represent this displacement vector? Suppose the position vector of x2 of q is r2 and position vector of p is r1. Then this displacement vector, this delta r vector, is represented by r2 minus r1. Please keep this diagram in mind, because we will because this is a very important law that we will discuss about after some slide. So if this is if r2 is equals to x2 I cap plus y2 j cap and r1 equals to x1 I cap plus y1 j cap, then this delta r vector is equals to x2 minus x1 I cap, because this is minus, and y2 minus y1 j cap. How can we find the magnitude? And this is the magnitude of the displacement vector. Now, what is a zero vector? You will be surprised to know that there exists a zero vector. It is represented by 0 and there is a bar above it. That means from this we can say, represented by 0, from this we can say that the magnitude of this vector is 0 and it has a direction. Now I know you are very surprised you are very surprised that what type of vector is this and where it is used. As we have already seen that vector has a direction and has a magnitude, and the addition of this, where it is required, the addition of two vectors of equal magnitude and opposite direction. See, a vector plus b vector, and if b vector is of equal magnitude with a vector and has an opposite direction, I can write b vector as this minus a vector, and if I add these two, it will give me a zero vector. It is also known as a null vector. What is the meaning? As I've already said, that the magnitude is 0, but it has a direction. What is the physical significance of this zero vector? This is the position vector of a particle kept at the origin. If we keep a particle at origin, if we want to know, let me go back to the position vector slide. If we want to know the position vector if we keep the particle here, and if we want to know the position vector of the particle, then we can say that it is a zero vector because the magnitude will be 0. and this is the displacement vector of a particle which returns to its starting position. As I've already said, this is a displacement vector that if a particle, follow my mouse, if the particle goes from P1 and again retraces its path back to P1, then I have already said that it gives a position of a point with reference to the point up another point. I am asking the position of P with respect to P. Then what will be the displacement vector? It will give me a zero vector. We know the velocity vector. The velocity vector of a body at rest, if we keep a body at rest, it is not moving at all, then the velocity vector is a zero vector. Now let us learn about some laws that the vectors follow. The first law is the addition of vectors, how the vectors are added. This is known as a triangle law. This, you can see that this is a triangle. This law says that if two vectors can be represented by the two sides of a triangle taken in order. What do I mean by in order? Let us suppose that ABC be a triangle, A, B and C, follow my mouse, A, B and C be a triangle, then in order, what do I mean by in order? Let us consider AB vector, see the direction, AB vector and BC vector. Okay, these two are the known vectors. Then the third vector, that is the sum of these vectors, can be represented by the third side. See this AC vector, these are the third side of the same triangle taken in opposite order. What do I mean by opposite order? Let us consider ABC triangle. AB and BC are the two vectors, known vectors. Then AC is another vector, that is my resultant vector. And if I had gone by the in order, then I would have said that CA vector, but it is not CA, it is AC. That is why I have said that it is the third side of the triangle taken in opposite order. So this is the triangle law of vector addition, that is AC vector equals to AB vector plus BC vector. Okay. Now I hope you understood this. Now if the angle between AB and BC is known, okay, if the angle between AB and BC is known, considering it to be theta be the angle, then the magnitude, these are the magnitudes, okay, these are not vectors, these are the magnitudes of this of AC is equals to is given by this expression. This is a very important expression, you will require it very often. Another law of vector addition is known as the parallelogram law. It says that if two vectors, known vectors, can be represented by two adjacent sides of a parallelogram drawn from a point O, in my case it is O, P and Q are the known vectors, then the resultant of these vectors, which in my case is R vector, can be represented by the diagonal drawn from this same point O. Okay, and this is known as the parallelogram law of vectors. We can see the mathematical expression P vector plus Q vector is equals to R vector. Okay, this is very easy to prove parallelogram law of vectors. We can see this is a triangle law and this is a parallelogram law. We can visualize this parallelogram law from the triangle law. This Q vector, we know that the opposite sides of a parallelogram are equal in magnitude and they are parallel. This Q vector, this is OB vector, is equal to AC vector. See, OB vector is equal to AC vector. then this becomes a triangle law. See, this is a triangle law of vector addition. Okay, this is a triangle law. If now if the angle between P and Q are known, the P and Q, the angle between this one, angle BOA is known, and let me consider it to be theta, then similarly from triangle law we can write the expression for the magnitude of R. We can visualize this by doing a small construction, like if you increase this side, and this angle will be equal to angle CA, and whatever this will be, this angle, by the properties of corresponding angles for a parallel lines, then we can visualize this easily. These this vector addition theorems follow certain properties. Okay, the first property that they follow is known as a commutative property. Commutative property means that if we interchange any one or any two or any three, as many as we want, like A, B, C, A vector plus B vector plus C vector, then it will be equal to B vector plus A vector plus C vector equals to C vector plus A vector plus B vector. Even it is possible to write C vector plus B vector plus A vector. It doesn't affect the vector addition. This is known as a commutative law. What do I? This is the distributive law. The vector addition, they follow distributive law. This means that this is lambda is a scalar quantity. If I multiply this by A vector plus B vector, okay, A vector plus B vector, then this scalar lambda will be added with A vector and B vector individually, and will be multiplied by A vector and B vector individually and then added up. This is known as the associative law. Vector addition also follows associative law. This means that if we add A vector and B vector first, and the resultant is added to C vector, then this entire sum will be equal to B vector and C vector added first, and then the resultant is added to A vector. This is known as the associative law. This is a very important part. This is one of the most important parts in vectors. This is the resolution and components of a vector. Suppose A and B be two vectors, okay, in space, okay, and this capital A vector be another vector in space, and we want to write this capital A vector in terms of small a vector and a B vector. Okay, how can we do that? We will construct PC vector which should be parallel to A vector. See, it is parallel to A vector, and another vector which is CQ vector which is parallel to B vector. Okay. See, this is the can you just realize what type of this is? Just now we have read about this. This is a triangle law of vector addition. So let me tell you that if a vector is drawn parallel to another vector, then this PC vector is drawn parallel to A vector, then this can be written, PC vector can be written as lambda times A vector, where lambda is a scalar quantity. If it is in the direction, it is parallel to A, then lambda is positive, and if it is opposite to the direction of A but still parallel or anti-parallel to A, then lambda is negative. Okay, then PC is lambda A. Similarly, since CQ is parallel to B vector, it is equal to mu into B vector, where mu and lambda are scalars. Therefore, from triangle law of vector addition, what we can write here, this A vector equal to lambda in PC vector plus CQ vector. PC vector plus CQ vector, and what are PC vector and CQ vectors? Lambda into A vectors plus mu into B vectors. Therefore, we can say that this A vector has been resolved along small a vector and B vector. Resolved means that we have written A vector in terms of small a vector and B vector, and this lambda and mu are known as components of A vector along small a vector and B vector respectively. Lambda and mu are the components, and this is known as a resolution, or we have resolved A vector along small a vector and small b vector. This is the rectangular components are the most important components that we require in the study of physics. These rectangular components are those components which are perpendicular to each other. They are at 90 degrees. Okay. Let us consider the two-dimensional case. This is the xy axis, and we draw a vector p vector which is at an angle theta with the x-axis. Okay. Now, consider OPN. Consider OPN. Okay, triangle. This AY vector. This is up to this OM vector. This is the AY vector, and ON is the AX vector. This is OM vector is equal to NP vector. Okay, because this is a square. No, this is a rectangle, and this AX vector is as it is. AX vector, ON vector. So let us consider right angle triangle OPN. Okay. From this, what we can write, we can use the triangle law of vector addition to write A vector in terms of AX vector and AY vector. AX vector and AY vector. So we have resolved this A vector for x and the y axis. So these are one of the most important components of vectors in the study of physics. And from trigonometry, from triangle OPN, what we can write, OPN, what we can write, this cos theta, what we can write, AX base by hypotenuse, AX by A, these are the magnitudes. Okay, these are the magnitudes. AX by A, therefore AX is equals to A cos theta. And from triangle OPN, OPM, what we can write, let us forget about OPM, let us consider OPN only. OPN, what we can write, sin theta, perpendicular by hypotenuse, what we can write, perpendicular by hypotenuse, what we can write here, AY by A, perpendicular by hypotenuse is equals to sin theta, then AY is equals to A sin theta. Remember, these are magnitudes only. So what we can write, A vector, so how we can write is A vector, since it is AX plus AY vectors, then therefore A vector is written as A cos theta I cap, A cos theta AX, A cos theta I cap, as I have already said that I cap and J caps are the unit vectors along X and Y respectively. A cos theta I cap, then A sin theta J cap. Okay, now we have completed the addition theorems that the vectors follow. Let us consider the multiplication of vectors. The first multiplication law that a vector follows is known as a dot product of a vector. Okay, what is a dot product? If we have two vectors, A vector and B vector, and suppose B vector is making an angle of theta with A vector, then the dot product of A, it is represented by A vector dot B vector is represented, then is written as AB cos theta. Okay, what is the meaning of this dot product? This means that this B vector, this dot product is equal to the magnitude of A vector and the component of B vector on A vector. See, as I've already said here, this is a component, this AX is the component of A vector on AX vector. Similarly, this B vector has a component along the A vector, and the component is B cos theta. Then the multiplication of the magnitudes of A and the component of B along A is known as a dot product, and it is given by AB cos theta. This dot product is also known as a scalar product because the product is not a vector quantity, it is a scalar quantity. And let me tell you that work is one of the most important example of this dot product. Work equals to force into displacement. It is actually force dot displacement. Force vector dot displacement vector. It is this is a dot product. The force is a the work is a dot product of force and a displacement. Now there are certain properties that a dot product follows. That the dot product is commutative, as I have already said that A vector dot B vector, commutative law, equals to B vector dot A vector. Since it is a scalar quantity, it doesn't matter A vector, if I interchange these two, B vector, A vector cos theta, it doesn't matter. Okay, the dot product of perpendicular vectors, suppose this B becomes perpendicular to A, that means theta equals to 90 degree, then this dot product is equals to 0. Dot product is distributive. This means that A dot B plus C is equals to A dot B plus A dot C. It is individually dot product with a B vector and C vector, and then added up. This is known as a distributive law. Then the dot product of two equal vectors. What is the dot product of two equal vectors? A vector dot A vector. Let me go back to the previous slide. If A vector is dot producted with itself, then the angle will be 90. The angle will be theta equals to 0 degree. Because both of the vectors will lie on the same line. Then A vector dot A vector equals to A cos theta. A cos 0 equals to A square. Remember I have said, remember I have said this P square, Q square, they are the dot product of P and Q respectively. And this PQ cos theta is the dot product of PQ. Now, how can we write the dot product of two vectors when it is represented in rectangular components? AXI cap plus AYJ cap plus AZK cap, ABXY cap, BYJ cap plus BZJ cap. It is represented by AXBX plus AYBY and AZBZ. Okay, this is the dot product. We can easily prove this. How we can do that? Because as I have already said, see this dot product of two equal vectors is the square of the magnitude of the vectors. Okay, if I dot I with I will get 1, j with j equals to 1, k with k equals to 1, and if I dot I with j equals to then by this rule this rule it will be equal to 0. Similarly, I with k, j with k, j with k with I, k with j, these all will be equal to 0. So ultimately you will get this. This distributive law is also very easy to prove. You will require the triangle law of vector addition. Please try it yourself. Another law of vector multiplication is known as the cross product. The cross product of A vector and B vector inclined at angle theta, that means if these two vectors make an angle theta with respect to each other, then the cross product is given by AB sin theta n cap. See, this cross product has a direction and therefore it is also known as the vector product. This direction of the cross product is normal to both A and B. How do we find the direction of this cross product? This can be easily found out using right hand thumb rule. For that what we have to do is we have to stretch our fingers and we have to stretch our thumb too. We have to place the edge of our hand on A and we have to curl our fingers towards B. the direction of the erect thumb will give me the direction of this C vector. Okay, this is known as a right hand thumb rule. There is another rule known as a right hand screw rule, but this one is the more popular one and this is easy to use. Now this cross product, it has some properties like this is anti-commutative. What do I mean by anti-commutative? See, A vector cross B vector equals to minus of B vector cross A vector. Okay, how does this minus come? If we consider A vector cross B vector, then this is AB sine theta n cap. Okay, then if we consider B vector cross A vector, then that be B into A sine theta, and this time it will not be theta, it will be minus theta, because this theta also has a direction, and this sign of minus theta will give me this negative sign. That means A vector cross B vector, the direction of this product will be opposite to the direction of this product. That is why this is a minus, and it is known as an anti-commutative property. The cross product of two perpendicular vectors is equal to the product of the vectors, and the direction is perpendicular to the plane of the vectors. This is for the perpendicular part, we have to use theta equals to 90 degree, and therefore AB n cap, where n cap is perpendicular to both A and B. Using this property, we can write for the rectangular unit vectors, I vector cross I cap cross k cap equals to I cap cross j cap equals to k cap, j cap cross k cap equals to I cap cross this equals to j cap. And similarly, if I go in this reverse, this is also reverse equals to minus j, minus k, minus I and minus j. Please verify this yourself. You can do it very easily. And using this, we can draw a diagram. This is a very important way to remember. If we write I cap, j cap and k cap, and if we move in the anti-clockwise direction like this, and if we perform I cap j cap, I cap cross j cap, if we get k cap, then we will get a plus. Then similarly, k cap I cap, the k cap, if we move in this direction, k cap I cap, we are moving here, and then we are getting j cap, then plus. And again k cap j cap, if we move it j cap cross k cap, then we will get I cap, and we are moving in the anti-clockwise direction. That is why it is positive. Similarly, if you perform this in the clockwise direction, that means I cap cross k cap equals to j cap with a negative sign, because see, in the anti-clockwise direction it is negative. Same, k cap cross j cap, we will get I cap and we get a minus sign. Similarly, j cap cross I cap, we will get a k cap with a minus sign. This is a very important and a very easy way to remember the cross product properties. If two vectors are represented by adjacent sides of a parallelogram, see the parallelogram law, I will show you that, then this magnitude of the cross product will give me the area of the parallelogram. See this AB sine theta, this is the magnitude, we have omitted the direction part, and this B sine theta is actually H. Let me show you this this parallelogram law. This is, suppose this is A and this is B, and if we draw a perpendicular here, then this will be the height, and this will be the theta, angle B of A. This will be theta. Okay, then this B, then if this is B, then B sine theta will be this height, and that is what we have used here. This is the base into height. We know this is the base into height is the area of the parallelogram, that therefore we will get this. Remember the magnitude only, we will get the area. And if we perform cross product of two vectors, A vector and B vector, which are given in rectangular components like AX, AY, AZ, BX, BY, BZ, we will the cross product is given by this determinant. This is known as a determinant, and you can find in the internet how to break this determinant. And if you perform the cross product rigorously, then using these properties and I cap cross I cap equals to 0, j cap cross j cap equals to 0, k cap cross k cap equals to 0. Using those properties, you will get a result which will be equal to this determinant. Now, this is the end of my lecture, and you can from this lecture what we have learned, you can implement this in this practice problem. I will urge you to go through and try these problems by yourself. If you you can even contact me on my email if you have any problem regarding the lecture or the questions. These four questions are straight away numericals. These are very easy, and the fifth question is actually a type of question where you have to think to answer. So please try it yourself and get back to me, to my email. Thank you very much.